Stop being so nice. Stop being so nice to everybody. Do you have politinitis?
This is Lea Marlene. You'll find deep talks here, meditation, tips, tools, including yoga, so you can be authentically you.
What is going on over there? I had politinitis for a long time. What is that? It's not a good disease. It's being polite all the time at your expense. It attracts narcissists. It attracts takers. It attracts all sorts of people who want to manipulate you. Because a lot of times people with that kind of mentality see kindness as weakness. So yes, they will target you. They profile you, they find you, they seek you out because you speak about being vulnerable and open, or maybe you're a hippie, or maybe you're a yoga teacher, maybe you're a spiritual teacher, and you go, why do I keep attracting these types of people into my life? It's because they seek you out. It has happened to me time and time again. It's amazing. But the good news is that now I have so much case study that I can pass the word on to you. And I have done so much work, and I've had a couple doozies. I've had a couple that have tricked me, and out of the goodness of my heart and my old being too nice, politinitis, I was taken advantage of. But if you have an awareness of it, you can stop. So an add-on to the video that I just posted yesterday about taking your power back is this video. This video is about stop being so nice. If you look around and you think, I don't live the life that I want to live. I don't have the kind of money that I want to have. I don't have the kind of bank account that I want to have. I don't have the kind of health, wealth, relationships, on and on and on. I would bet that you might have politinitis. So those are the symptoms. The symptoms are, wait, I never get my turn. You're disappointed a lot. People abuse you. People mistreat you. But look, you got to have radical acceptance. That's what those people do. If you see a bunch of vultures, you don't just try to go make friends with them. But people that disguise themselves as people but are really vultures, you do. Because your politinitis kicks in. That confused me for a while because I was like, well, but my authenticity is nice. Like, I'm a nice person. I don't want to be rude. Why do I want to? I don't want to give my power away, right? By suddenly becoming something that I'm not and being like some biatch. That's not what it is. It's about telling the truth. It's about being assertive. So I became really good at it in my work. And something that I love to teach is the Meisner technique. I love it, and we're actually starting a new class if you're interested. But the reason I love this work so much is because it cuts through all the BS. You read behavior for face value in this moment. There's no story attached. So that one of the exercises that we do in the Meisner technique is this reading behavior and repetition. And if somebody's being a jerk, you're a jerk. You're not like, well, you were, mistreated when you were 5 years old, and then somebody cut you off in traffic today. Story, justifying why they're rude. Boom, in this moment right here and now, you're being a jerk. Or in this moment right now, you're amazing, you're so kind. It goes much deeper than that. It's hard to explain it in a short synopsis because it's an 18-month course. But it's an in-depth study on human behavior, and it's fascinating. And so you just cut right to it. It's so refreshing to just say the truth. But in our lives sometimes, we're scared to do that. We don't want to make the other person uncomfortable for their bad behavior. How weird is that? Like, I'm sorry you're being a jerk. Like, you end up apologizing for their bad behavior if you have polyneitis. And if you clicked on this video, I'm guessing that you do. The good news is there is a cure. And no, you don't have to become a rude, spiteful person or vengeful. You can still have goodness in your heart and remain with that authenticity. You can still remain a total sweetheart and stand your ground. Or a total gentleman. I guess a gentleman could be a sweetheart. A binary, I don't know. I'm running out of adjectives. A good person with a good soul, a good heart. So when I say don't be nice, it doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden be rude. But what happens is you begin to be nice to yourself by just saying the truth. And sometimes it doesn't even need to be verbally said to somebody. But take it for face value. Have radical acceptance. This is how this person is. So one key to success, and sometimes it's really hard because sometimes it's family or friends or different people, and I also advise you to seek therapy and get support because it's not always so easy to just leave a situation. I get that. Sometimes it can be really dangerous. Sometimes it can have to do with religion. There's all sorts of different reasons sometimes why you can be in relationship with somebody who's very manipulative and emotionally abusive. So please seek the support that you need there. And at the same time, learn to be nice to yourself. You're watching this video, so that tells me that you take time for yourself to do things, so that's good. But when somebody wants you to do something that's uncomfortable, don't do it. When there's an instinct in you that's like, this doesn't seem right, but I want to go because I want to make them happy, don't do it. And you don't have to have all the justification because, see, when you are a polite person, a lot of times you're like, well, I don't know why I have this bad feeling. I've done videos about that before, like feeling energy and how to deal with jerks and all sorts of things like that. And sometimes we make up stories because we want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. So often, how do we do that? How often do we do that? Oh, they were just hungry. Or you're a jerk. Oh, I was just hungry. And catch yourself where you're making excuses for being a jerk. And stand up for yourself. Just because you're hungry doesn't mean you need to treat me badly. Just because you're running late doesn't mean that you have the permission to emotionally abuse me. Or whatever it is, right? Or remove yourself from the situation if it's safe. But stop bending over backwards and apologizing for their bad behavior because that just continues the cycle. Now here's where it can get a little bit tricky because some people will try to get that reaction out of you, especially narcissists, people like that who are trying to dump their negative energy on you. They love it when they get a reaction from you. So then you step out of your authenticity. Maybe you're always calm. Maybe you're really pretty easygoing. And because of that, you're irritating somebody. And they don't calm down and find peace. Therefore, you don't get peace until you have that reaction. But then you have this reaction. Maybe you attack, or maybe you say something out of character. Maybe you judge and attack them in that moment. And then later you feel terrible because you know that that wasn't in your own integrity. So it's very tricky. Like, at what point do you say you're being a jerk? And at what point do you just say, okay? And have complete indifference. You have to learn who you're dealing with and when. And it takes a lot of practice. It takes repetition, which is also why the Meisner technique is so interesting, because in therapy, they say emotion plus repetition creates a new behavior. Well, sometimes people train you as to how you get your needs met and it changes your repetitive emotional behavior or response. So that's the other cool thing about the Meisner technique, is because you're inside of this class, this acting class, and it can be very therapeutic because you're under imaginary circumstances, or you're under an exercise instead of it being really personal. How can you not take your own emotions personally? How can you not take it personally when somebody attacks you? But you get to look at their behavior. You get to look at your own behavior without it necessarily being a reflection on something that's going to impact your life, if that makes sense. Because sometimes inside of a real relationship, when you're not in an acting exercise, it's going to have repercussions. So this is a great place to practice it. And that's why it becomes so therapeutic and addictive in a way, in a healthy way. Because in other areas of your life, you have to act sometimes. Sometimes you can't say the truth for reasons of protection of yourself. Somebody could be a real jerk, or they're completely lying and you know it in your gut. But by standing up for yourself and saying you're lying, then now you're the crazy one, because then they can go, oh, look at your behavior. Look at how I'm getting a rise out of you. So you have to be very careful. And it can become this game of like walking on eggshells everywhere you go, unless you begin to recognize who is who and what is what. And when you begin to do this, people will fall away. Because when you don't play that game, people aren't going to want to play with you. But the people who are up to big visions and who aren't threatened by your big vision, who don't want to squash your vision, who don't want to take away your light, who don't want you to succumb to a life of mediocrity because it makes them feel better, those people will get it, and they will completely flood in to your awareness, whether it's through a video like this, whether it's through an actual meeting with somebody. The more people that are falling away, now I'm excited because I go, okay, now I'm in alignment with the people who can show up, who we can create this great vision together, that I can inspire and they can inspire me. So any relationship that isn't doing that, bye. But how we say goodbye is going to look and be different. So it's a process. It's a process to untangle what is the most authentic thing in this moment, and also what is going to serve my highest and best in this moment. So sometimes we have to act because that's going to serve our highest and best. Sometimes you're going to have to act indifferent when really you want to say you're a complete liar. You're completely out of integrity. But that's not going to do anything for you, because that's going to give that person, if they're a narcissist, that narcissistic supply. What is that? That's like, it's an emotional vulture. Like, they feed off of your emotions, good, bad, and indifferent. So, well, not indifferent. They can't feed off of indifference. So when you give them indifference, it's like protecting your energy in such a huge way. But this takes practice. When is it authentic to do that? So that's where yoga and meditation and the tools that I want to keep providing help. Because you're not going to get it. You can get it from a video. You can get it from advice from somebody who you respect and admire, who lives the type of life that you would love or do love. You can be inspired by that, but the real vision and the real alignment only comes from within you. And yoga and meditation are great ways to just really be with that and to listen to that inner knowing, to connect back into that. Because you can get, especially if you've been a people pleaser, you're a really kind person, you have politinitis, your vision can get muddied because somebody says, oh, that's stupid, or they even covertly try to sabotage you, and you think, but this was the person that was such a cheerleader to me just 5 minutes ago. That's how you can tell. When somebody flips on you just immediately and you have that nothing has happened, that is a person who intentionally came out to manipulate you, to take advantage. They wanted something from you. Every relationship, there is a give and take. Every relationship, somebody wants something. So check in with what it is that you want from your relationships. And then start to get clear when you notice behavior in others and what they're really wanting from the relationship. Because sometimes when you can trace back, I look at people who have taken advantage of me. And I always had that internal knowing. But I ignored it because I wanted to uphold the vision of who they were instead of just point blank what they were showing me, whether it was in business or personal relationships. So if one of the things that you want is mutual respect and they're not giving you respect, then you know it's going to be a lot more of that down the line because you can't change anybody. So if somebody all of a sudden is validating you and, oh, you're doing such a great job, I love your vision, I really believe in you, I see great things, I think that you're going to, be this, be that, and they're building you up, but then they devalue you the next minute by by being silent, taking away that validation, not saying anything, or sometimes it can be even more insidious than that in other ways, trying to plant seeds of doubt. Those are not your people. So while it might hurt to recognize that you drew them in, the awareness is everything. I also have an awareness meditation that is so beautiful. Just sit with it. You can watch the pictures as they move by and just be aware of the details. Or just close your eyes and center into awareness. Awareness is the key to your transformation. So if anybody is leaving your life right now, celebrate it because it's making room for the people who are open and supportive of your vision and the people who are going to inspire you. So a lot of times somebody's not successful because you're around people that are dragging you down and you're trying to please them. It's exhausting. Of course you won't have success. Of course your health will be depleted. So stop being so nice. Stop it. Be nice to yourself. Be assertive and truthful. That's authentic. That's actually the nicest that you can be to anybody anyway. Instead of putting your needs on the back burner for everybody else all the time. That's not a spiritual thing. Like I think sometimes in the spiritual community it's like, oh, but I have to sacrifice everything about me first. No, you don't, because then you're of no use to anybody. You have got to fill yourself up first. I don't want to go to a teacher or a leader that is so depleted that they're dumping a bunch of crap on me. I want somebody who's giving from the overflow, who's given to themselves so much and is living a life that they love. That's who I want to learn from. Not somebody who's like, I sacrificed everything for you. I'm about to die. Are you happy? No. So why do you want to be that way? The nicest thing you can do is to stop being nice. So on this channel you can find yoga sometimes, meditation, talks, conversation. That didn't mean to rhyme, but it did. You're welcome. That's what you can expect here. So I want to give you tools that have helped me and that continue to help me because I'm always evolving. And have grace for yourself when you slip up sometimes. Have grace for yourself when you give somebody who didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt and you ended up bending over backwards for them. And just stop and change course. You're worth it. Your life is worth it. Don't let them take you down. Ain't nothing gonna take me down. Okay?